Hey guys, and welcome back to my channel, and welcome to a brand new video. Today is Veda Day 5. I know I meant to film this yesterday and I forgot, so you guys are seeing this a day late, but this will be for Day 5's video. So I want to talk about my autism. So when I was 16 years old, I was diagnosed with autism. Prior to me being diagnosed with autism, I was diagnosed with ADHD. So from the time I was 8 to, I want to say 13, 14, I was diagnosed with autism. I think it was right around age 9 or 10, maybe 11, I'm not sure when. My doctor wanted to diagnose me with something else. Never was told what. But my doctor wanted me to be off my ADHD medication that I was on. But the school had found out about it. And so the school contacted CPS for XYZ reason and literally told my parents, I think there was already a case open for something else, that if I was not put on the ADHD medication that the school deemed I needed, that they were going to take me and my sister away. So I had no choice but to be medicated. Now, one of the medications we did, I think, get permission from the school to take me off of. I think I was off of it for a few days. Don't remember. Maybe it was just the weekend, I don't remember. But medication caused me to eat grass, lick the pools, lick the ground, a bunch of randomness. Is pretty much the equivalent of speed. So that was back when I was like, I think 10. So 2 years went by. I was still diagnosed with ADHD, but we were in the process of moving to Ohio. So, we finally moved to Ohio, and we took me, I don't know if I was on my medication or not at first, I don't know, but eventually at some point around age 13, I was taken off my ADHD medication during that summer. So, I was taken off of it. We moved to Ohio. I don't think I was put back on it when I was, I think, 14. They diagnosed me with, which is what's called ODD. I think it's occupational or oppositional, not really sure which one, defiance disorder. And for the longest time, when I first heard about this, it fit. But back up. Before that, probably when I was 14, so I think a year before I was diagnosed with ODD, my middle school that I attended in Ohio thought that I just had ADD. Not ADHD, attention deficit hyperactivity disorder, or just attention deficit disorder. But I didn't. So then it was, I think 6 months to a year later, they diagnosed me with ODD, occupational defiance disorder. And that was around age, I want to say 14, 15. This is a blur. And I was diagnosed with that up until right around the time I had hit age 16. Then I guess, according to what I was just recently told, someone through Social Security, a doctor through Social Security, diagnosed me with autism. I'm sure there's other psychiatrists and stuff involved. So, more specifically, Asperger's. Now, when I was I'm not really sure. When I was a kid, my parents noticed that I really liked talking to this wooden spoon. And this wooden spoon was my friend. And I talked to it all the time. That was the only thing they'd get that I was communicating to. Then as I grew up and hit my teenage years, I think even being diagnosed ADHD, I think I would still have meltdowns. I would still, I think, act out, yelling, hitting. So when I was originally diagnosed with occupational defiance disorder, if you look that up, it made sense as to how I was back then. And I literally thought that was gonna be my diagnosis because it literally made sense. It was the only thing to make sense. It wasn't until my grandma got married to her current husband that they came back from their wedding before we moved to Ohio, that they came back. So my grandma and her current husband came back from their honeymoon with, I think it was 20 to 40, the numbers varied, different signs that your child might be autistic. My parents each looked at this separately. So my mom, I don't remember who looked at it first, but one of them looked at it first, came up with, I think, 27 out of 30 different things. My dad then looked at it later that day, a few days later, was never told when. But my dad eventually got around to looking at it, I think later that week, and came up with, I think, 28 out of 30. I think based on what I've looked at and learned about it, there were only 2 things of autism that didn't really make sense. Or it didn't fit me. I wasn't really self-harming, and I was verbal. I think there might have been 1 or 2 other things, but otherwise, you look up signs of autism, I had it. I was tiptoe walking, not making eye contact. At that time, I did not want to be touched at all. And, for the longest time, I think I had trouble. I think trouble sleeping was one. And so, I think that's when they took that to my doctor, and that's when my doctor wanted to diagnose me. But that's when the school found out. So, that was that. But when I was finally diagnosed, it was all like, this makes sense, because I've had sensitivity to light, noise, still tiptoe walking, still lack of eye contact. I had kind of gotten used to giving hugs and a little bit of being touched, but not so much. I took sign language classes when I did a semester of college in Ohio and for a few years out here. And one of the ways that deaf people get your attention is, we're going to use my dad for example, is let's say this is me, is that they will tap you like this. Just a little, like, tap. Hard enough to where you can feel it, but not too hard where, like, it will hurt. Like, enough where, like, you'll feel it, but, like, you won't bruise or anything, just a slight, like. I think my parents would, like, do that every now and then to get my attention. And so I got used to just, people constantly going like this, or things like this, or, I was also trained that if you put your hand out like this, that you obviously shake the hand. So I was trained, or whatever word you want to use, on all of that. So after taking sign language for a while, I think even before I decided to switch my major, so like, if I'm gonna be a sign language interpreter, I'm gonna have to get used to this. So I got used to it, and since then have pretty much, been used to being touched. Now there are still times that I don't want to be touched, but like, I'm okay with people giving me hugs as long as you're a friend or someone I know. I'll give you a hug. So all of my friends I give hugs to. So that is like the one thing that I will do. Or there'll be a slight, like, the only person I think I don't hug really, maybe once, is my friend Rebecca. But otherwise, every other friend that I'm friends with, when I see them, I'll give them a hug when I arrive, and then when we leave, we'll give them a hug. With this classmate Crystal, which I'll explain more about her in a whole nother video, with her dropping me off every day after school, she gives me a ride home, I will give her, I think she started it first, but I don't know if I started it or her. She did, but anyhow, I should know this information. I'll have to think about that one. But we'll give each other a hug. Not during PE. During PE, we'll just say hi and talk and stuff. But when she drops me off, we'll give each other a hug. When she picks me up, sometimes when we hang out, I think I'll give her a brief hug. But otherwise, nothing. We'll just have your typical friendship. So that's the extent of that. I think I realized I had autism, I would say right around age 12, maybe 12 or 13, I think, is when I think I realized that I may have autism. I don't know exactly what led me to think that I had autism. I just think I knew I had it right around, I think, age 14. I think I saw other kids, both my level and nonverbal, that were showing traits of autism, and I'm all like, that's me. Now, to give you a good example, there is a student in my class who is my same age. We are exactly 3 days apart in age. I'm 3 days older than her to the day. And her name's Morgan. Don't know last name, not gonna state last name, even if I did. And she was diagnosed with, I found out recently that she was diagnosed with autism when she was 9. And she has sensitivity too, but I did the light little, like brush touch and to get her attention when her mom took me to group a few weeks ago. I think I mentioned this. And she kind of gave me a look like, what the fudge are you doing? But one of my friends, this girl named Anna, went to shake her hand. Morgan did not know what to do at all. And I found it a little weird that me and Morgan, just as an example, both have the exact same diagnosis, but 2 completely different ends of it. Even though she's diagnosed with Asperger's just like I am, she's not desensitized. She's very, very, very quiet, a lot more quiet than I am. She doesn't really speak too much. She can talk with her words, but I might talk to her mom and see if Morgan does know sign language, and if she does, be like, hey, she should, whether she does or not, be like, hey, you should teach her sign language. I think they are having to learn it because I went 10 and said 10, and she did it, so I'm not sure. But that's just an example. That you can be the same diagnosis as someone else and it be on 2 completely different sides of the spectrum. Anywho, that's going to be it for this video. If you enjoyed it, please give it a big thumbs up. Comment down below, leave a friendly comment. Subscribe to my channel if you are new. Click that notification button. Share my videos with your friends, family, and anyone who you think may enjoy it. Have a great day, night, or whenever you're watching this. You are valued, you are loved, you are worth every ounce of your being. Don't let anyone else tell you otherwise. And with that being said, I will see you all tomorrow for a brand new video. Peace out.